speaking of high price
Yeah.
athletes, I'd be remiss not to kind of look at this, the seasonality. And can you give us a bit of a preview with the NFL? Because, I know you've been looking at that as well in terms of less the athletes and more just the
business
of it, the rights. And
well, one of the deals me and you were talking about off camera was that, listen, everybody's paying attention to the Sunday ticket deal, right? Amazon, who's going to get it? Amazon, Apple, a very important deal to pay attention to. But I also think
does it matter to the rest of us that much? I mean, it matters to them.
It matters to them, and I think the general consumer will catch up to eventually. Wherever football is, people will find it because this country, they love pro football. They love college football.
Yep.
So wherever it is, they'll find it. The media is how they do it, right? We'll just go and like Amazon did this big rollout of what they're doing, and we had like 5 different organizations that write about it, and I just wanted to go see it to see what it is from a fan's perspective, so I'll know how to navigate it. But getting back to your original question about the NFL is one of the deals that I know I'm curious about and still paying attention to is the halftime rights deal, right? I followed this when the NFL first put that.
Pepsi had it.
Pepsi pulled out, right? And it's going to
too
open up in the market.
expensive. Why'd they pull out?
I don't think it's too expensive. I think that if you're Pepsi, that brand, that Super Bowl brand, it probably is gone as far as it's going to go. Now they're still a major partner.
At this,
Yeah, they're still a major partner, but I don't think Pepsi needs that, right? What company does need this is going to be the curious thing. I want to see who signs on to that. I don't have enough to throw out some names, right? Because I don't want the speculation to rise. But I just want to see who gets it. If it's an older company, what are they looking for? Are they looking for renewed interest in their product, right? Something that older companies usually do, or is it a new company? We know cryptocurrency is not available yet because the NFL is not allowing it. But is it a blockchain, right?
Yep.
They are allowing that. So I'm curious to see who wants that asset because it's like $25 to $50 million. That's how much you're paying for per year.
Well, I mean, and I always think the Super Bowl is sort of where you get those fleeting moments in time.
It's the Mecca.
Gerbils kind of flying out of, But let me get back a second to the NFL, which is because with professional sports was always supposed to be what would keep us really attached to our big cable packages, right? Because live sports, that's still destination viewing. Is that generally shifting a lot because we're seeing a lot of cord cutting, we can all do our streaming services. As some of these deals migrate over to these other players, I don't know, and maybe I'm getting you out of your comfort zone here, but do you think the discussions changed? Because even just a few years ago, I felt like that was what was going to save cable.
Yeah. Well, first, you're never out of my comfort zone, right? Sports business is the zone. I'm in
right.
it.
We're
listen,
going to call it the Forbes zone.
Yeah, the Forbes zone, right? It's an evolution that you pay attention to, right? Predicting where things are going to go it'll be useless.
Yeah.
But I look at things and I look at my 8-year-old. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I see the way she consumes TV. It's not through cable. I don't think my daughter knows what cable. I think she remembers what it is because at one point she had it, but I don't think she remembers what it was. Like she's so on the apps now, right?
Yeah.
She's 8 years old. Eventually, Diane, she's going to be 38 like I am and 26 like you are, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's absolutely,
discovering technology for the first time.
There you go. Absolutely. And so this is the consumer that the NFL, all sports leagues have to pay attention to. This is the way they're going to consume the product. I don't think cable's going to completely go away because the infrastructure is not there yet. You got to rewiring the company, or the country, I should say, is a big task. That doesn't come overnight. And so while you're going through that phase, right, you'll have those people, but it'll go over, right? I have a grandmother, right, a grandmother-in-law, and when I see her, she'll say things like, "And I cancel cable? It's wonderful." And it's like when they find out that life exists without a cable, it's fascinating from a human being perspective because I'm like, you know what? It's happening, right?
Yeah.
But I still think it'll go back and forth. I don't think cable's dead. I don't think it's at that point yet. But I think that the way technology is evolving, the way the consumer and the young consumer especially are picking up new ways of consuming and habits and ways of their gateway is different to enter these leagues. At that point, I think you'll start to see a shift in things. And then at that point, Amazons, the Apples of the world, they should be completely ready to take over should the broadcast networks fall out.
Yeah, well, it's a huge coup, right? That will
not
be...
anytime soon, though. I don't think so. Disney and Fox and they got too much money tied into these leagues because it's the last big thing that's holding up TV. People tune into live sports. I could watch a show anytime, but I can't watch live sports anytime.